View this video from the playlist to see the complete video content.
We just ran out of bobbin thread in the last chapter, and you can tell that because I only have one thread coming from the needle and under the foot right now. So the very first thing we want to do now is we want to wind our first bobbin, and to do that, I'm going to tilt the machine back in its bed, and I'm going to lift the finger on the bobbin case so that I can release the bobbin and pull it away. The bobbin and the bobbin case. Now with that pulled away, if I let go of the lever and I pull the casing up, the bobbin will fall out. If I do that again, if I put it in and I hold the lever up, the bobbin will not fall out. So lever released, bobbin comes out. So this is the bobbin that we're going to fill full of thread. And we could leave our machine threaded right now and put a separate cone of thread behind the machine and use it to wind our bobbin without having to unthread the machine. But it gets a little complicated seeing all that thread up here, so what we're going to do instead is I'm going to actually remove the thread from the machine, and we're going to use our existing cone of thread to show you how to wind the bobbin. First thing we want to do is, obviously the thread is still sitting on the thread stand and coming up through the grommet hole in our thread stand. And then I still want to go through the most direct path of the spool pin from left to right on the sewing machine. And I'm still going to go through the pigtail just as I had shown you before, but now I'm going to come back and I'm going to go underneath this tensioner that looks like a flying saucer, and then back around it one more time and then come and pull it tight. That will keep it from coming out. Then I want to go under all of these threads, pull my bobbin up from the inside, run the thread inside and out one of the holes in the side of the bobbin case, or the bobbin. And you can see how I have that right now. I'm going to put that on the spindle again and lock it down all the way, and then I'm going to kick this over to the right. Now I will hold this thread while I operate the machine to wind the bobbin. Now notice, if I don't do anything at this point and I operate the machine, I'm actually operating the machine while I'm winding the bobbin. We don't need to do that with an Ultrafeed because we have something called the posi pin that we looked at earlier. I'm going to simply pull our posi pin out, put it in the keeper. That will disengage the flywheel from the upper shaft of the sewing machine. So now I'm not running the machine, I'm only running the flywheel and the bobbin spindle. When the bobbin fills appropriately enough that I can cut the thread without it popping free, I'll snip the thread at the side of the bobbin. And now I simply run the machine and gauge how the bobbin is filling. And right now if I look at it, the bobbin is coned a little bit. It's coned so that it's fatter at the bottom than it is at the top, which means that I need to make an adjustment to get more thread to the top. So I am going to loosen this screw, and then I can raise this and I can even tilt it side to side. I'm just going to raise it and tilt it a little bit to throw more thread to the top of the bobbin, and then I'll continue my fill. And now if I look at it, you should only have to do this once when a machine is new in order to get it tuned in. This is one of the things we don't tune when we ship them out. And looks like it's filling nice and evenly now. Now what I want is I want that bobbin to stop spinning when the thread is about 1/16 of an inch away from the rim. That's what this stop does. And I can see we're getting close, so I want to position that lobe a little bit closer to the center of the spindle in order to shut the bobbin off a little bit earlier. So I'm going to loosen this screw, and I'm just going to twist the lobe a little bit and then retighten the screw. And I probably have already put it in close to the stop position. And you can see it spun a little bit of thread off of it, so I need to move it a little bit more. So I already overfilled it a little bit, but I can move that a little bit more, tighten it down, and now I definitely am at a point where I'm not going to be winding any further. My bobbin is full, and I simply pull this off and then cut the thread. Now I want to hold the bobbin like this so that the thread is coming off the top, and it would be rotating counterclockwise the way it's coming off like that. Then I want to grab my bobbin case and hold the bobbin case so you can see the axle, And as you hold the thread like that, you want to drop it down, or the bobbin, drop it down onto the axle, and then there's a little slit in the side that I go under and then pull it all the way until it snaps under the spring tensioner, which is right here. And now you can see when I pull on that spring tension, or pull on the thread, I'm getting the resistance from that spring tensioner. So the bobbin's in place and threaded. Now I want to hold up on the lever, locking the bobbin in the bobbin case, tilt my machine back or open the slide plate if I'm so inclined and my fingers are small enough to get in there, and then put the machine, or put the bobbin case onto the axle here, this axle, and then you want to make sure that this finger right here that sticks up goes at roughly the 12 o'clock position when the machine is sitting upright. You should be able to see right here, there's a notch where that finger goes into the notch where I'm pointing at it with the screwdriver there. So I drop that on there, push it in all the way, tap on it a few times to make sure it's locked in, let the thread hang, maybe a 6-inch piece of thread inside the case. That's all there is to winding and installing a new bobbin. And then we go back, and I've already shown you once how to pick up the lower thread, so I'm not going to discuss this, but I'm just going to do it so you can see how we accomplish that again. So I'm rethreading quickly. Through the tension assembly, catch the take-up spring, raise, oh, I've got to engage my flywheel. So I'm going to remove my posi pin, and remember we go through a hole in the flywheel till it drops into a mating bushing hole. Now I can rotate and operate the machine. Take-up arm, and then down to the needle thread guide, under the cover, and then through the needle from left to right. Always from left to right. If you go right to left, you'll pull the thread out of the needle when you sew the first stitch, and so it won't stitch. Okay, hold my thread loosely all the way down, all the way up, till the take-up arm is about the 3/4 point or so. Slide something under the foot to grab both loops. And there I have my 2 threads in the proper position between the foot and the needle plate, and the one on the bottom, I want to pull it just to make sure that it's pulling freely and smoothly, and it is. And I'm ready to sew again.